ぐすよはじみてうがなびらわんねゆうじこうたろうんでいちょいびんわうまり島やうちな島ぬ西バルンでゆるとくるやいびんわいなぐやや一万ぬかねぐすくあぐんでゆるとくるのうまりやいびんいなぐやのやぐやあがいむんなんがやいびんわいきがうやや西バルのぐやうまりやいびんやごやいいうじにいちょいびんちゅやゆたさるぐとうにげさびら。So, hello everyone. My name is Kotaro Yuji and welcome to my small Uchinaaguchi lesson. I first introduced my roots. I am from Nishibaru of Uchinaa Island, and my mom is from Ahagon or Ahagun in Ichiman. My dad is from Guya of Nishibaru, and this is how many indigenous people introduce. We always introduce our roots first, then myself second. And yes, so this is Uchinaaguchi. This name is in the Uchinaaguchi. So this one is also known as Okinawan language. Many Japanese people think this is a dialect, so call it Okinawa Ben. Okay, this is my hometown name, Nishibaru. Then island name is Uchinaa. I put Nishihara and Okinawa in parentheses because those names are actually official names, but the name is changed after Japanese language education took place in Okinawa, so that a lot of people's family name and place name they are changed so that those would sound more like Japanese. My last name is also I actually changed it recently to Uchinaaguchi pronunciation, original version. Yuji is, I think, widely known as Yogi. So if you are local people in Hawaii, you might have seen someone has last name Yogi. Yeah, Yogi is same as Yuji. It's just a Japanese pronunciation or real traditional pronunciation. That's the difference. And after I graduated from high school in Okinawa, I moved to Hilo and studied linguistics. I graduated with a BA in linguistics at Hilo in 2018. Then I worked as a tour guide in Hilo. Then after that, went back to Okinawa for a year. Then in this September, I came back to Hilo for a master program at Hilo Kahakaula Oke Rikolani. This program is called Indigenous Language and Culture Education because I really want to revitalize and re-normalize my ancestral language, Uchinaaguchi, and other Ryukyuan languages as well. So, if you are indigenous and if your ancestral language are disappearing, needs revitalization efforts, I think this program is good option for you. So, yeah. The picture on the right is me on the left with orange belt, and my sensei or teacher or master on the right with the black belt. For those of you who did not know, karate was born in Uchinaa or Okinawa, and I am very proud of it. And please let me show you where Uchinaa or Okinawa is. Okay, here is a big island. Zoom out, and here are Hawaii Islands. Okay, now we see Japan and China, Taiwan, Korean Peninsula. Okay, here's the small islands, Ryukyuan Archipelago. And this small island is Okinawa Island. So Ryukyuan Archipelago are, they lie between Japan and Taiwan, Korean Peninsula, and China. So Okinawa or Ryukyu had a lot of influence from them. And Okinawa was also an independent kingdom called the Ryukyu Kingdom from 1429 up to 1879, when Satsuma samurai clan from Japan came to Okinawa and invaded and took our kings and illegally annexed, just like how US did to Hawaii. So during the kingdom era for 450 years, Ryukyu or Okinawa created our own unique culture and languages. So let's talk more about Uchinaaguchi, the language itself. So this is one of the Ryukyuan languages spoken in Okinawa Island. And Ryukyuan languages have, depending on which source you cite, 5 or 6 distinct languages. And Ryukyuan languages are in sister language relationship with Japanese language. So this is not dialect belonging to Japanese. They are in sister language relationship. And native speakers are over 80 years old, or around there, because since Japan took over or invaded Ryukyu Islands, the language, Okinawan language or Ryukyuan languages were banned to speak, just like how Hawaiian language was banned to speak. So people had to shift to speak in Japanese. That's why very native speakers are older than 80 years old. And in 2009, UNESCO recognized Ryukyuan languages as endangered, meaning if we don't put any efforts to revitalize the languages, it'll die or disappear. Okay, this picture on the right is Suigusku, also known as a Shurijo or Shuri Castle. This was the center of Ryukyuan Kingdom, so it was our symbol. But unfortunately, last year, October 31st, the castle burned down. So yeah, it's been a year since then. It still hurts for Okinawans in Okinawa and also diaspora Okinawans. So yeah, talking about Uchinaaguchi, there's always a question. isn't it just a dialect of Japanese? I will say no. Because, like I said, sister language relationship means, both languages are distinct languages. Just having a common ancestral language. For Ryukyuan and Japanese, the ancestral language is called Japonic language. And around 3rd century, Ryukyuan languages first derived from Japonic and developed its own grammar and vocabularies. And later, Japanese language derived from Old Japonic, then developed its own vocabularies and grammars. So, those languages, Ryukyuan and Japanese, have same ancestor but developed differently. Just like how English and German, how Italian and French have same common ancestor but now are recognized as different, distinct languages. So for this time, the source I cited from showed 5 different Ryukyuan languages from north to the south: Amami language, Uchinaaguchi, and Miyako language, Yaeyama language, and Yonaguni language. Especially southern Ryukyuan, they are so different from Uchinaaguchi, my ancestral language. Okay, I will introduce how to do the self-introduction. This is a very simple way. First sentence will be how to say your name in Uchinaaguchi. Wanne Kotaro Yuji Yaibin. Wanne name Yaibin. I am Kotaro Yuji. And the second, for the first sentence, if you can, please repeat after me. Wanne name Yaibin. はい、二平でビル。では、second sentence is where you come from. For me, Uchinaaの西原からチャービタン。Uchinaaの西原からチャービタン。I said, I am from Nishibaru, Uchinaa. Okay, if you can, please repeat after me. Place, Kara, Chabitam. Your place, Kara, Chabitam. And I have some more useful greeting phrases. The most famous one would be Haisai and Haitai. This is very casual, so you don't use it at a very formal occasion. And what's the difference in between Haisai and Haitai? Not all the places in Ryukyu or Uchinaa, but for certain places, men add sai at the end, women add tai at the end to make it little polite. So Haisai and Haitai. The very most casual form was hi, just hi. But Haisai and Haitai became too popular, so people no longer say just hi anymore. Then Chubu ga nabira will be little polite. You can use it anywhere. Equivalent to hello, I guess. The direct translation is I meet you today. And next one will be Hajimiti Uganabira. I think it will be equal to nice to meet you in English conversation. Literally meaning I meet you for the first time. The part Hajimiti, this part means for the first time. Then Uganabira, this is the same as this part. Chu Uganabira, Hajimiti Uganabira. Then a lot of people ask me, how do Okinawans say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night kind of phrases? In Uchinaa, we didn't have those phrases. So the closest thing we usually say to each other at daily basis is Iwa chichi debiru. Iwa chichi debiru. It is like when encountering someone, you say, it is a nice weather today, isn't it? Have a good day, kind of phrase. This is Iwa chichi debiru. For the scene, we say see you again or bye bye to each other. We say mata yasai for men, mata yatai for women. And this picture on the right, this one is Yeisa. We do it for Obon on the lunar calendar July. We do this to welcome back our ancestors and spend some time together and send them back to the afterlife. In Japanese culture, they have Bon Odori, also known as Bon Dance here in Hawaii. The Bon Dance is different from Japan and Okinawa. So more useful phrases. Of course, we all need to know how to say thank you. So here's Uchinaaguchi thank you. Nife de biru. Nife de biru. And to say I am sorry, we say wasai bin. Wasai bin. To say excuse me, guburi sabira. Guburi sabira. To say long time no see, we will say nagesai bin, nagesai bin. Or you would add ya at the end to make it sound more natural conversation. Nagesai bin ya. And the last one is the very common phrase most Okinawan people grow up hearing from parents. What are you doing? Will be nusoga. Nusoga. So I want you to notice that in Uchinaaguchi, for the question, the ending goes down. Nusoga. Nusoga. Not like nusoga. No. We say nusoga. So I think this is kind of interesting feature of Uchinaaguchi. And here I have a photo of the great masters of karate, Chinen Kenyu Sensei and Matayoshi Sensei. Hi. Anse Kure Uaiyai Bin Gusuyo Chuya wa Uchinaaguchi mini lesson Chichimisochi Ipe Nihei de Ritam. Okay, this is the end of my little small lecture. Thank you very much for listening to my lecture. Nife de Biru. Thank you very much.